Hello everyone and welcome to another No Man's Sky Expedition explanation video. This time we're going to be covering Expedition number 2, Beachhead. Now I played about 3 hours on stream earlier on today, and as you can see I only have 3 milestones left to complete. Again, 3 hours, got most of the way through it. Phase 5, however, is going to give us a little bit of a challenge, which I will explain in just a moment. Now, Phase 1 is very basic. It's kind of just your get your feet under yourself, find your starship, leave the planet, first rendezvous, all that type of stuff. The first rendezvous is only about 150, 200 light years away, so it's not super hard to get to. And the only difficult thing in this stage might actually be warping your capital ship. Now, I got kind of lucky. In about the second system I warped to, I had a space battle, so I participated in that, got a free capital ship, and then was able to warp with it very quickly. And I would highly recommend doing this as soon as you can, because you get 5 warp hypercores, which will be full recharge of your hyperdrive, and it's going to give you quite a lot of distance to cover, basically for free. So definitely try to get this one done early, but generally, Phase 1 is really just the instrumental, get everything started, and you'll be good to go. Phase 2, once again, has your second rendezvous. There's also a third, fourth, and fifth rendezvous. But this one actually has to do more with using specific maps. Now, I don't remember the exact name of it, but there is a map that shows distress signals, and you will need to use a certain amount of those to reach a crashed freighter, a crashed ship, and a stranded life form. I got lucky. I had a crashed freighter next to a building that I happened to go to, so I didn't actually use a map to find the crashed freighter, but I purchased about 8 of them, and I used maybe 4 or 5. So definitely use some of your navigation data to get these maps, because you will need them for very early milestones, but definitely save a few navigation data as well for the alien artifact cartographic charts, because they will definitely be needed in Phase 5. Phase 3, once again, has your third rendezvous, but this one has to do with visiting different planets. As you can see, scorched, toxic, radioactive, and frozen. You just basically need to touch down on those planets and hop out of your spaceship, and you will complete that milestone. Desert and lush, however, these require you to actually go down to the surface and scan a creature. Now, I don't know if this has to be a creature that no one else has scanned before, because it does say discover. However, I did get these relatively early on in systems that I did not discover myself. So I think that these systems definitely had other players in them. As to whether they scanned the exact creatures I scanned or not, I am not sure. But definitely give it a shot if you land in a random system and you can try to scan these creatures. If it doesn't work, just wait until you start to warp to unique systems that nobody has discovered before. And then when you see a desert or lush planet, then actually pop down and actually scan the creature yourself, because you can guarantee no one has scanned it before in that case. But I don't know specifically about the metrics of it, but hopefully it does work in either case. Milestone 4, or Phase 4, excuse me, is once again, you have your fourth rendezvous, and this one has to do a little bit more with hopping in and talking to a couple of the species. You have to learn 10 words from each. You can probably do this by only going to like 3 or 4 space stations, one for each of them, talking with everybody, getting all their words, or you can do it with knowledge stones on the surface. You can really do either. I don't see a lot of reason to go to the surface of planets aside from the specific ones in Phase 3, so you can really just kind of warp around and talk with whatever systems you need. You also have to map 10 star systems, so once again, this is systems that people have not been to, and as I stated in Phase 3, if you are having difficulty scanning creatures because you need to actually discover them yourselves, when you get to this stage and you're starting to go to undiscovered systems, you can then stop down on your desert, on your lush planet, and actually scan the creatures you need. The biggest challenge, however, for this milestone will be to visit the Atlas. Now, if you do not know this little secret I'm about to share, this could take quite a while. However, right next to the Rendezvous 5, there is a system that is 78 light years away, and it is a yellow star. It is called the Atlas Calls, I think. The Atlas something. It is a yellow system 78 light years away. You can very easily warp to it. And inside this system, there is an Atlas station that you can go and meet to and complete this milestone. Because Polo in the space anomaly does not actually have the ability to direct you to Atlas coordinates. They took that out because there's a different role that Polo is going to play in this, which we'll talk about in Phase 5. But in order to visit the Atlas, your best bet is right off of Rendezvous 5, look for the Atlas calls. Otherwise, you would have to have a very lucky time warping between different systems and hoping you actually find an Atlas. Now, Phase 5 is going to take quite a while because, frankly, we still don't know what's up with it. You obviously have Rendezvous 5, and when you complete this rendezvous, you unlock the historiographical dosimeter, however you want to pronounce it. And this specific device shows up in your inventory, and you use it to actually gather data from key artifact sites. Now these are artifact sites that are shown on your map, or that are displayed for you when you use the artifact site from the cartographic maps, or whatever they're called. I totally forget their name. So you definitely want to save some navigation data for these, because you need to go to 3 of them and use the specific text line of the artifact site for this historiographical dosimeter. You need to take flux readings. Upon doing 3 flux readings, you complete the second tier, which is historiography lesson. From this, however, we don't really know where to go, because acquire the myth beacon requires the community to actually complete research. Once the research has been completed, you will be able to purchase the myth beacon from the Quicksilver companion for 85 Quicksilver. For every site that you bring the historiographical dosimeter to, you do gain 15 Quicksilver. So you do need to go to a couple of them in order to actually reach the 85 that you need to purchase it. But this is where we're kind of stumped, because so far, as you can see, progress still remains at 0. By this point in today, there should at least have been some progress made, but frankly, we just don't know what's going on with this. So in the near future, I'm very sure that we will figure out how to actually unlock the myth beacon, and then when we purchase it, we'll be able to complete this milestone and maybe get some direction to go on these final 2, because these final 2 are mystery ones. We don't know what they are. They are mystery objectives. So hopefully, as again we start to complete some of these tiers, we get a little bit more hints as to what these do. I guarantee it has to do with the myth beacon in some way or the other. And the theme of this expedition actually is tearing rips in like the space-time, but in the past. So it's not like you're seeing glimpses of the future, but something in the past is happening. So I wouldn't be too surprised if some milestone of these 2 happen to deal with like past quest lines with Artemis or something like that. That would be kind of cool, but frankly, we have no idea, and we're just going to really have to see. So as I said, I played about 3 hours of this. I bum rushed to the Rendezvous as quick as possible, because you get a crazy amount of inventory space, starship space, multi-tool slots. You just get a lot of items along the way. As I progressed, I did purchase hyperdrive upgrades as much as I could, A's and S classes only, because they allowed me to complete the warps in less time. So I got to the 5th milestone very, very fast, maybe in about only like an hour and a half of gameplay. And from there, it was kind of just doing cleanup, making sure I find the right planets for Phase 3, making sure that I purchase the maps and find the right utilities for Phase 2. Phase 4 was done very quickly, talking to all the different species on the space stations when I was looking to buy my hyperdrive upgrades. The Atlas is pretty much a freebie if you make sure that you wait by rendezvous number 5. So yeah, it really wasn't super difficult. I did have to grind a little bit for the 10-star systems. I finally got to a place where I was discovering them, and then I just warped 10 times really, really close by just to get them all out of the way early. And yeah, we're stuck on Phase 5. So hopefully in the next few days we can start to figure this out. I know I'm going to certainly be doing a little bit of my research myself, but that's all that we have. This is a pretty cool expedition. It's shorter. You only have 2 weeks to complete it, but it is much less milestones at the same time. I feel like it's a little bit streamlined, much more balanced, but hopefully we get a little bit more of information on how to actually complete it, because that would be kind of unfortunate if we were not able to actually finish the expedition. But as I said, that is it for me, so hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of the explanation video. Thank you for all watching, and hopefully we'll be able to see you in the next video. Take it easy, everyone, and have a good rest of your day, evening, and or night.